Wow guys, I haven't recorded a video in a while. Um, Thank you for all the new subscribers to the channel. I see you. If you feel like you have any questions that I can answer, please feel free to let me know. I was supposed to record a whole bunch of videos this summer, but summer vacation was actually a lot busier than I originally anticipated. My son was out of school. I also had my daughter. I basically just kind of jumped into the deep end and started casting my own dolls. So if you, at the beginning of the video, the little slideshow that's showing probably right now, those are my dolls that I have successfully cast in resin. They're not 100% professional because I'm not 100% professional, but they look cute. The handful of little mushroom guys, I think it was 5 of them in the picture, I actually have those still available in my Etsy store if anyone is interested in adopting one. Anyway, this summer I started using craft mark clay from Michaels. In the slideshow, the brown doll that's on a metal stand kicking and posing and just looking flat out cute was sculpted with two bricks of like a brown craft mark clay and a dark brown for the head cap, the hair area. That doll was just basically like an experimentation, so I decided to resculpt her so that way I can cast her in resin. I also included a materials list before the recording of me sculpting starts, so if you would like to see the materials that I used and read through that, feel free to pause the video at the, let me see, at the 52-second mark. Those are all the materials I used and what I used them for. I tried to record the entire sculpting process, but I can't move. My camera really sucks for one, so my setup is like, it's really zoomed in, and I can only put it but so far up because the piece I'm sculpting is relatively small, so you won't be able to see any of the details if I did that. So the camera really sucks, and I kept moving my hand out of focus, so sorry if you can't really like see a lot of the details for the doll, but I did try to include what I can. The clearest bits, I think you can see right now in the video, I'm sculpting the torso part. You can see how I did it. I forgot to film sculpting the legs, but what I did basically was I sculpted the legs in terms of from thigh to knee of both legs, and I basically used that as a guideline to kind of fit the doll over it, and fit the torso over it, so that way the socket fits flush into the doll. I find that craft mark clay is very similar to Fimo, so I figure if I can use this clay to sculpt a doll, then Fimo is actually a good option for sculpting dolls. It's very hard, so kneading is kind of a problem, but when you cure the clay, you put it in the oven and you cure it, it actually strings and poses really well. So this would be really good for a one-of-a-kind doll if that's what you're into, or just basically just sculpting a prototype. I'm using it now to sculpt a prototype. I actually made a statement in another video saying I wouldn't recommend using Fimo to sculpt a doll. I still haven't tried Fimo, but since it's very similar to Craft Mart, I guess I recommend it. My biggest gripe with Fimo was that the one time that I used it to sculpt a doll, I should insert a picture here, but I don't have a picture of it right now. But the one time I used it to sculpt a doll, it was very crumbly. Well, no, not crumbly. When I tried to add raw clay to cured pieces, it wouldn't stick right. So after I like baked the fresh clay on the piece that had baked before, it then would crumble up while I was sanding, or if I had to carve, it would get messed up. But a good fix for that, I find, is I've been using translucent liquid Sculpey as kind of like a slip to add raw clay to cured clay. Now, it's not perfect in terms of like if you don't smooth the raw clay onto the cured clay properly and mix it in well with the translucent liquid Sculpey onto the piece. When you bake it, it could like cause an air bubble, so you basically have to make sure there are no air pockets between the raw clay and the cured clay. Like the pieces have to be flushed together. At the 4-minute mark, you can see me smoothing, using the translucent liquid Sculpey and smoothing it into the clay to add the raw clay to the cured clay. So basically, I've been doing that, and I find that that really works. Also, translucent liquid Sculpey seems like the perfect medium to use to remove fingerprints. I've actually been watching Ace of Clay on YouTube, and I see, well, I think, well, he could be using the clay softening medium, but I think he uses clay softening medium, but I find that translucent liquid Sculpey does something similar. I use it to get rid of my fingerprints, from the piece, and it's been really awesome. I can't talk crap about polymer clay anymore because I seem to be really into it these days. Like I said, it's meant for making things like jewelry, so it can take a good amount of abuse. I haven't broken a piece test stringing yet, so yeah, Craftmark clay. So for this particular, let me see, what other tips do I have? I've been using measuring spoons to pre-measure clay clumps, so that way I can make things more symmetrical and have them be similar sizes. So I basically just jam it in there and use a knife to level and take it out so that and sculpt that way. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but when I figure out my camera setup, I'll try to do another video showing exactly how I do that. You can see me doing that a little bit in this video, but it's just so jank. I would slow it down a little bit, but the video itself is like 2 hours long, and I don't think I can post 2-hour videos on my YouTube. I think I can post like 15 minutes, so I try to cut everything down to 15 minutes. Anyway, so what else? When I sculpt the doll, I sculpt it in a solid, and then I take a drill and I drill, the channels in there. For me, that just seems like it works better that way. I know there are ways to sculpt a doll hollow, but this is what I prefer right now. I prefer sculpting solid pieces and just drilling the holes in later for stringing. Anyway, right, so I want to try to sculpt a larger doll. Oh, if you're interested in seeing what this doll I'm working on in the video looks like right now without its head, because I still need to sculpt its head, wait till the end of the video, or you can skip to the end of the video, and there's a little slideshow at the end showing what this doll looks like and how she poses. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this doll. Coming up at some point in the future, I'm hoping sometime soon, I would love to sculpt a really large single jointed doll. I got some questions asking to explain the anatomy of the joints, like what makes the joints work and stuff like that. So I really want to do a sculpt along with you guys. I mean, obviously it's going to be a basic single jointed doll, but if you guys would be interested in doing a sculpt along with me, let me know. I'm going to be using DOS air dry clay because I find that that's the cheapest, and I want to sculpt it. I want to do it on a budget because I'm dirt poor, and yeah, so I'm going to do it with DOS air dry clay. And I'm probably going to do it sometime next month, or maybe when it gets a little bit cooler out. Anyway, that's it for the voiceover of this video. I hope everyone is doing good. I'm not sure if it was really educational because you can't really see in explicit detail what I'm doing. You can kind of see when I sculpt the hands and the legs and how I do it with the needle, but it's not really that, I guess it's a bit fast. But I'll try to edit this down and repost the footage of me the footage of the hand and foot sculpting part of this video. Anyway, I hope this was, I guess, interesting. If dolly talk is boring, I do apologize, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good one, y'all.